see that part.
Bill and Norm.
Bill Mettler and Norm Dennis.
Oh, okay, cool.
Oh,
there's Bill.
Hi, Norm.
Hi, Norm. Hi, Bill.
Hi, Bill.
Let's sit together. This
And depending on the camera, this is. Okay. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. We might even start only 5 minutes late. I think that's a record for us.
That's not really up.
Is this not, still not, hello?
There, maybe better.
Okay, better. Maybe, it's okay, cool.
We're better.
More better, more better than it was. Okay, good, all right. Well, welcome. I'm so glad that you all are here.
Run the show. I don't remember your name, but God bless you. That's correct.
And it is going to be a fabulous day today. Anyway, but especially since we have Barbara Simmons here. And these are topics and thoughts and spiritual connections that are just so huge that we don't always talk about. So the idea of racism or any of the isms, it's part of our life. So let's connect. But first, what we will do is start with our first song.
Cool.
That should be on your little piece of paper, which is Blowing in the Wind. And we went with Bob Dylan. Or did we? Unless we went with Bruce Springsteen. Unless we went with the Muppets.
All right, so here we go.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
How many roads must a man walk down before you call him a man? How many seas must the white dove sail before she sleeps in the sand? How many times must the cannonballs fly before they're forever banned? The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. How many years can a mountain exist before it's washed to the sea? How many years can some people exist before they're allowed to be free? How many times can a man turn his head and pretend that he just doesn't see? The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. How many times must a man look up before he really sees the sky? How many ears must one person have before he can hear people cry? How many deaths will it take till he knows that too many people have died? The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind.
It's certainly timely. Certainly is something to give us a little bit of thought. Every time I hear that song, it does make me, oh, you really do So I did that one, and the one that hit me just now was just how many deaths have to happen until we actually do something about it. That's not what we said, of course, I was paraphrasing, but, just that whole idea of how many people have to die in wars or whatever, ice attacks, any number of different things. Until, how is it that we get ourselves together to do something about that? So it does make me think every time I hear it. So before we get into all the big good stuff, let us start with the small good stuff. And if anybody has any announcements, please pick up the microphone and tell us all. Even Bill and Norm, who are on Zoom. Announcements? Nobody has announcements.
We almost started on time.
Come on. I know, that was probably it.
I can project.
Yes, but they can't hear you on Zoom, so that's the only reason why.
Give him this mic.
Yeah.
Give him this.
Right here.
All I want to say is I am most grateful for this glorious day we have outside. And it's a great way to start it, and I hope you'll enjoy the rest. That's all.
Thank you.
Yes,
Now
yes.
that was a great announcement. Perfect. What's that? I think we'll get to this one first. Any more announcements? Oh, Gary has an announcement. And he's gonna check and make sure that that microphone is
Couple announcements. One, I believe we had a Save a Day today. Went out on the Pebble list, and that would be after celebration. If you're going to help with doing any kind of gardening activity, I think Larry, for 1 hour, I believe Barbara and Larry are
I brought my gloves.
contact people or the point people on this. If you have any garden gloves, so right after celebration, I believe, right? So we say bring your hearts, your hands, and your feet, okay, to show up and help out with that. I also believe there's a council meeting on Tuesday night, is that correct?
Don't put the word right.
So,
We'll send around a notice with the link should you want to join.
Great.
We're gonna send.
Oh, yeah, that's better.
We're going to send around the link for the Tuesday meeting. Wow, that should be here.
and I think, David Troy, aren't you doing some kind of thing with your follow-up of America 250? There's a Zoom meeting of some sort. I believe it's going to be Sunday, August 9th at 7 p.m. And there's a Zoom link that will go out if you were part of that. Barbara, you want to add something?
Yes.
Yeah, I wanted to keep it like to an hour so it wouldn't take everybody's day, but we can work efficiently. But there will be a little food in case anybody needs like a little snack before we start working. And I can assign you the activity. I think that's it.
Relating to this,
Yes.
I'm going to be part of this hour, and I brought some snacks and some drinks, which I'll put out, and people can help themselves. And I think Dave Pasquale is going to be here, and he has tools, but I also have tools and gardening things. If anybody needs a tool or something for the gardening work, just let me know.
I love it. We got tools too. And Nancy, were you wanting to say something?
About Gary coming in.
Oh, yes. So Garrett Powell will be coming in August. I believe it's that first week that he's kind of flying in. And so that first Sunday.
He's coming on the 4th.
Yeah, so that next Sunday, the next 2 Sundays, he will be doing celebration, but there will be home camp starting, we'll get that exact date, we'll post that, all those dates, but I know he has activities that he will want to be doing, as we did it last year, some during the day, on probably Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, maybe on Tuesday. And then we have events, we will have Derek doing that interview that they did for, with him, like a Frost interview that he had done, yeah. So Derek Marshall will be here, that'll be on the Saturday afternoon. And then, we have an activity that will be at Circle of Miracles on, Saturday night. They have a psychic fair, so we're all gonna head on over there and, all combine, connect with all of our people, at a different place. So, so Gary will be here, mark your calendars for the two middle, Sundays rather, celebrations. I'm sure I'm forgetting something else, but as I think of it, I will tell you. Bill Nettler, you're gonna talk to us about pledges?
Thank you. I wanted to give my thanks for George Kranick because he has taken the spirit of the outreach group and really applied it beautifully in a number of different venues. And I think he is a model citizen for Pebble Hill and enlivening us. And I'm here on Zoom today because I am looking after my dear wife, Bonnie. I'm her cook and chauffeur and errand runner. And she is making marvelous progress. And for that, I'm very thankful.
Hip replacement.
Oh, yay.
Yes.
Thank you, Bill.
Thanks, Bill. Anybody else on Zoom? Any light bulb moments, anybody? Just came up with a great idea. I'm gonna write a book. You know, and I'm serious about this possible prayer book. I even brought the paperback here. If you ever have anything, stray thought of what you want to use as our prayers, add to our prayers, I'll put the paper up here, just jot anything down. Send it to me by email. I am carrier pigeon. So any little thing that you have, this is an ongoing thing, so I want to keep that up.
Change mics up. Your current mic is not working. Use this one.
That's so sad. Mike.
Bless you.
Okay, this is better. All right. So, but you probably already heard me to actually say, send your prayers and your bits of prayers so we can put together stuff and write a Pebble prayer book one day. Okay, any new visitors? Young man who came up to speak with us, we don't know your name, and we'd love to say hello, whatever your name is. That's you.
Michael John.
Michael John.
I've been coming here on and off for decades. I know some of the folks here.
Oh, good.
Great.
So here I am.
Now, the rest of us know you. Michael John, so good to meet you, and welcome. Glad you're here. And, yes, ma'am.
Yeah, my name is Sarah Thompson, and I'm newer to the area. I've never been here before, and it's my first time.
Thank you. Welcome. Sarah Thompson, new to the area. Very good. See, I'm glad when people pop in. Well, we're an interesting bunch. Any birthdays that we have happening this week? Anybody on Zoom know any? Let me see. I can't even think of any famous person. Linda Ronstadt? Yeah, she is. And she's got MS, right?
I'm not sure.
She has something that keeps her from singing, but I believe she still is doing okay. Parkinson's, thank you. All right. Well, let's sing happy birthday to every one of her birthdays and keep them coming for all people who have those kinds of ongoing chronic illnesses. They're still here. They're still celebrating a birthday. And we'll go. 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday, we love you. Happy birthday, So let us just read our creed out. For no good reason, but that it's right there on the piece of paper, and we like it. Right. So we live a life by love transformed, by spirit empowered, by creative imagination guided, in peace with all. That's interesting. It's the same everywhere, but for some reason, it has a different energy each time. That's another one. Sometimes I listen to one, by creative imagination guided, just popped out for me this time, because they don't always pop out. You kind of read it and go from the top. But that one just seemed to me to be something to pay attention to, especially this month. Okay. So does anybody, since we started this exercise for prayers, does anybody have a beginning healing prayer? Or just a healing prayer that came up with? Because I think they have them. Or if you want me to leave a piece of paper here and show you what we got so far. Anybody happen to have a few words? It might be just a thanks, wow.
I'd just like to say, to add to the healing prayers for today, as I was coming to Pebble this morning, there was a police car by the side of the road and two people standing by a little fawn that had been hit and was struggling. And I just want to send that little tears and prayers.
I saw one.
Yeah. So let us join in with all of the healing prayers that are happening around the world, because that energy is strong, and it can be even stronger as we join in with them. They're all saying prayers in Thailand and France, in South America.
Argentina.
Argentina's in South America, and I had to look at a map to make sure, because I'm not good at that. But places where there have been, like Venezuela, losing probably so many people, they probably haven't even found all the people. That's 2 big earthquakes they had. Those buildings aren't made to deal with an earthquake, and so we lost so many people. So may we join with all of their prayers and all of their visualizations to heal everybody around the world, and everybody who is on the edge of deciding. I'm just thinking about my aunt, she's on that edge. But I bet there are so many people who are on that edge, just about to let go. Let's give them the love and the peace to be able to take those steps, going into whatever that next step is, whether it's finding that light and walking toward that, seeing their loved ones, seeing their friends, an ex-husband that they actually liked, any number of different things. And people who are just suffering from chronic illnesses. We have so many people here that are dealing with chronic illness. Laura Dennis is still healing. So many people are healing from recent hospitalizations and things that people aren't talking about. There are a lot of people who suffer quietly, and they could use just that little extra love and peace and joy and something in their heart that's going to help that body part, that whole body wholeness come back to healing. There are so many people. Let's get them in. And Nancy, I'm not ignoring you, please. Please.
It's Michael.
There are people there, and it's recorded.
Michael Stearns was showed me an email today that Linda Hutchins was in a car accident, a 3-car pileup because there was deers crossing. There's no news about how the deer are. But she is in Sellersville with ankle, hip, and head injury possibility.
Wow.
That was the email. I have a lot more to say to that, but let's keep her in our prayers.
It's her second foot and ankle accident in Pebble. Have we been digging in our heels or are we needing to? Digging in our heels in love heals, healing the heels. All right, going, but that is just what it is that we can connect with that universal energy is. We hold you in the light. We hold you in the kneeling light. We hold you in the light. We hold you in the light. The healing light of God's love.
Pretend I already have this lit. That you're looking at me in the past, having done this. Good job. I can do. There you go.
So would anyone, with that light done many hours ago, anyone want to light the peace candle? And give us their thoughts about peace. We surely need that. Right now. Okay, go ahead, get up. Somebody's gonna get up. I can feel it. Just feel the energy. Go ahead. Go ahead, understand. I know you're not. We love your peace prayers.
I think I always say the same thing when I do this, that when I come to Pebble, and especially when I light the peace candle, I just feel such serenity here. When I walk in the store, I feel loved and I feel supported and I feel surrounded by everything beautiful. And I have recently pondered on the fact that where would I be if I didn't have Pebble, if I hadn't discovered Pebbleville? I would be an entirely different person, I think. And I wouldn't be what I am now, and I'm so grateful. And I'm so grateful for all of you.
I agree.
That was pretty cosmic news. Thanks. I've been thinking a lot about the idea of peace. Almost who hasn't, I suppose. But I really have been pondering with all the things that we might hear on the news. Barbara had mentioned, did you hear about certain things? And I thought, oh my God, there is so much happening that I'm not sure I can see everything. And I have to just do that general meditation, before I go to bed, to just somehow create peace from my higher power out to everybody's higher power because that is what we do here. People will ask what we do here as far as, well, is it religions, is it non-denominational? But we do it all in peace and joy and love. Hopefully, we do that all the time, every minute, but sometimes we forget, and sometimes things get in the way. But we pretty much live here, and we're reminded every day and every time we walk through the front door, just that idea of peace and joy and love. That's what we're about. I hope that we know that. I hope that we show that. I think we do, yeah. Much as we can. Okay. Anybody else have any light bulb ideas? No, I know there's around here somewhere. Thoughts? And also, if you should happen to have any prayers that sound like poems, you can put them up here too. Alrighty, so we're going to move on to our offering, and we're going to sing one of the Hamilton songs. We're going to play one of the Hamilton songs, and some people might know some parts of them, and it's fascinatingly interesting, everything that came out of Hamilton, if you've gotten a chance to see it. Just that whole idea of, if you can ever sit with those words of all of the songs, and you realize that they really put forward.
Ah, Mr. Secretary.
Mr. Burr, sir.
And did you hear the news about good old General Mercer?
No.
You know Claremont Street?
Yeah.
They renamed it after him. The Mercer legacy is secure.
Sure.
And all he had to do was die.
Yeah, that's a lot less work.
We ought to give it a try.
Huh.
Now how you gonna get your debt plan through?
I guess I'm gonna finally have to listen to you.
Really?
Talk less, smile more. Do whatever it takes to get my plan on the Congress floor.
Now Madison and Jefferson are merciless.
Well, hate the sin, love the sinner.
Hamilton.
I'm sorry, Burr, I gotta go.
But
decisions are happening over dinner.
Two Virginians and an immigrant walk into a room diametrically opposed foes. They emerge with a compromise, having opened doors that were previously closed. Bros. The immigrant emerges with unprecedented financial power, a system he can shape however he wants. The Virginians emerge with the nation's capital. And here's the pièce de résistance. No one else was in the room where it happened, the room where it happened, the room where it happened. No one else was in the room where it happened, the room where it happened, the room where it happened. No one really knows how the game is played, the art of the trade, how the sausage gets made. We just assume that it happens, but no one else is in the room where it happens. Thomas claims
Alexander was on Washington's doorstep one day in distress and disarray.
Thomas claims
Alexander said,
I've nowhere else to turn,
and basically begged me to join the fray.
Thomas claims
I approached Madison and said, I know you hate him, but let's hear what he has to say.
Thomas claims
Well, I arranged the meeting. I arranged the menu, the venue, the seating.
But no one else was in the room where it happened, the room where it happened, the room where it happened. No one else was in the room where it happened, the room where it happened, the room where it happened. No one really knows how the parties get to yes. The pieces that are sacrificed in every game of chess. We just assume that it happens, but no one else is in the room where it happens. Meanwhile, Madison is grappling with the fact that not every issue can be settled by committee. Meanwhile, Congress is fighting over where to put the capital. It isn't pretty. Then Jefferson approaches with the dinner and invite, and Madison responds with Virginian insight.
Maybe we can solve one problem with another and win a victory for the Southerners. In other words,
Ho,
a quid pro quo.
I suppose.
Wouldn't you like to work a little closer to home?
Actually, I would.
Well, I propose the Potomac.
And you'll provide him his votes.
Well, we'll see how it goes.
Let's go.
No.
What else was in the room where it happened? The room where it happened. The room where it happened. No one else was in the room where it happened. The room where it happened. The room where it happened.
My God,
In God we trust, but we never really know what got discussed. Click, boom, and it happened.
and no one else was in the room where it happened.
Alexander Hamilton.
What did they say to you to get you to sail New York City down the river?
Alexander Hamilton.
Did Washington know about the dinner? Was there presidential pressure to deliver?
Alexander Hamilton.
Or did you know even then it doesn't matter where you put the U.S. Capitol?
Cause we'll have the banks, we're in the same spot.
You got more than you gave.
And I wanted what I got. When you got skin in the game, you stay in the game. But you don't get a win unless you play in the game. Oh, you get love for it, you get hate for it, you get nothing if you wait for it, wait for it, wait. God help and forgive me, I wanna build something that's gonna outlive me. What do you want, Bird? What do you want, Bird? If you stand for nothing, Bird, what do you fall for?
I wanna be in the room where it happens, the room where it happens. I wanna be in the room where it happens, the room where it happens. I wanna be in the room where it happens. I wanna be in the room where it happens. Close your eyes.
They wanna lead us to save the day.
We don't get a say in what they trade away.
We dream of a brand new start.
But we dream in the dark for the most part. Dark as a tomb where it happens. I've got to be in the room where it happens. I've got to be where it happens. I've got to be where it happens. I've got to be in the room where it happens. I gotta be where it happens. Click, boom.
We get to be in the room where it happens. Every Sunday, we get to do it. We get to do something.
This is the room where it happens.
This is the room where it happens. And I thank you very much for filling up our baskets and keeping Pebble being the room where it happens. And we are the who that visits the room where it all happens. That it is peace and love and joy and knowledge. Because what we're going to be doing next is something fabulously interesting from Barbara Simmons, who is from the Peace Center. And it will be our wish, I think. The more we hear about what the Peace Center does, the more I feel that Pebble is a part of them, needs to understand more about what they do and be a part and bring them here and we go there or we help and extend whatever it is that they are doing because this world is needing it. So we're needing all the work. And what Barbara will do is just take us through something that we need to think about more often as we're running to the gas station and getting our tires fixed and going to the supermarket and trying to plan our day and then reading our phone. No, we don't do that much, but still, Barbara is going to enlighten us and help us to walk through all of this. This will be hiking, but Barbara Simmons, I would like you to
Thank you. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you so much, Susan, for the invitation this morning. I don't like to do anything unless I'm helping to bring some awareness to what's going on. These days, when I'm doing the work of the Peace Center, it has to be action-oriented for me because we are in a very, very dire place in our society. There's celebrating 250 years the founding of this country. It was founded on violence and experiencing violence daily. Today, violence, as much as I want to talk about the vulnerable and how do we become a more skilled ally, whether as educators, a couple weeks ago, as a conversation with educators. What are you going to do when they come for me? Because they will be coming for me. And I've never had anyone say anything so about us. Which include anti-racism, just racism are here to a more of a I wanted to hear about those on Zoom being able to hear. awareness. A better ally. Person. I might not be able to fully grasp what they are experiencing, but I'm going to because it makes white people feel uncomfortable. And then you're all going to participate. So, Barbara? Barbara Atkinson offered to volunteer. So Barbara, you're going to take this water. And when I call out the group, you are all going to say how much water should go in that cup. So the first one is black male. How much water should go into that cup to represent how much power they have in our society? Okay, so tell her when to stop.
Stop.
Okay, so just a few drops. Black female, tell her when to stop.
Stop.
Okay. Asian female,
Stop.
Asian male.
Stop.
Okay. Next we have a Latino male. Tell her when to stop. And I'm surprised you've given her that much. I know. When you think about the immigrant policies. of today. I think we should put some of that into the Latina class.
Okay, stop.
Okay. So the next one that Barbara's going to move on to is white female. Tell her when to stop.
Stop.
Okay. Not quite half full. White male. Tell her when to stop.
Don't stop.
Stop.
I actually would have kept going with that one.
Yeah, don't stop. Overflow.
Yeah, overflow.
Need a bigger glass.
This one. Yeah.
Okay, gay male.
Stop.
Gay female.
Stop.
Okay. And lastly, Native American male.
Stop.
Native American female. Yeah. So, what does this mean for our society? What does this mean for us today? This little visual.
Horribly imbalanced.
Horribly imbalanced. And where do we sit in this? Those of us here today. We're sitting with power. How many of you are using that power? I know you are, Dave Gibson. There's not enough of us using that power in a good way. And so I do this exercise whether I have a student who is in middle school or high school or university or adults. It's a reminder. We know we're walking around holding a lot of privilege. We take that privilege for granted. Are we willing to give up some of that privilege so others can have power? I want to share with you a little story. I had 2 volunteers up here, high school kids, that were doing recording. And while I was talking, one of them started going like this, and taking from one that had more power. Think about that. That is what's happening every day. But they turn on each other to take more power. They don't turn on the white male and the white female for that power. Yeah. Yeah. Have you ever heard somebody say black on black violence? Which is a bugaboo for me. I do not like that term. Because we have white on white violence. Right, so this is where we get to speak up and say, what do you mean by that? I've heard really aware people say that. But what they're referring to is that if you don't have power, you're taking from each other.
It's like saying it's okay.
Well, it's kind of an excuse to, so that we don't have to get involved. We don't have to do anything. David?
I think when marginalized groups compete for power, because it's a symptom of their powerlessness.
It is a symptom of their powerlessness, correct. That is exactly right. If you have a system that you are fighting, then you're trying to get power wherever you possibly can. And we continue with our privilege. It's hard to give up our privileges. David?
I want people to, can I share over the microphone?
Please. This one works the best.
So I'm aware that I have a client who is an immigrant, and immigrants aren't represented up here, so I've noticed that. And what she tells me is that she's Slavic, and she's trying to make friends in her Slavic community, but there's all this backbiting going on of who's going to get the American dream and have success and power. So she can't have friends in her own community. She's trying to figure it out, and she doesn't know how to figure it out. So I just wanted to say that, because that is part of the undermining of the people who do get here, that they're stuck in that place of they want to climb the ladder to success, And they go after each other and talk about each other, she was saying to me, horrifically, to dumb people down so they can step on their heads and climb up the ladder. So that's one thing. The other thing I wanted to say is that Jewish Americans are not up here. And I'm very aware of what it is, what you said, your African American colleague said to you, what are you going to do when they come for me? I'm feeling that now. And I'm an adult child of Holocaust survivors. And there are many of us feeling this way, who are very upset about the facts of what's happening in Israel, don't support Netanyahu, but have been put in the basket, just like we did to Chinese Americans when the virus came here, and everybody was blaming Chinese Americans for bringing it here, people who were being oppressed. I just wanted to add that into the mix.
Thank you, David. You bring up what happened that day when one of my peace educators said, what are you going to do? They're coming for me. The next person that spoke up was the Jewish peace educator and said, what are you going to do when they're coming for me? We know anti-Semitism is on the rise. We know xenophobia is on the rise. All of the isms are on the rise. We are othering one another in our fear. And we are being goaded to turn on one another. That is a strategy that we do not have to buy into. We can say, I don't participate in that. I won't participate in that. And so, if the strategy is to have us turn on one another, and I will tell you, I have worked in Rwanda where there has been a genocide. That genocide happened, one of the ways it started was by dehumanizing the other, which is what's happening here. When we dehumanize another, it makes them less of a threat. And so we don't have to participate in that. Being an ally means for all of our vulnerable populations. Having a privilege is being able to be stepping out of our comfort zone to be an ally for those who are being othered. And there are many. Unfortunately, right now, there are many. If you are not white and Christian, you are being othered. You are being demonized. The Peace Center started to track the hate crimes and the bias incidences that started in 2016. And within 6 months, I had 12 pages of a spreadsheet that quickly. And most of them were happening in schools because that's who would get in touch with us. The student that would receive a note in her backpack because she is Mexican American. Or the student who is LGBTQ who was being harassed. And they were just coming fast and furious. And so I have a responsibility to try and be part of that solution. And it's not going to be easy because I may be feeling drawn in many, many different places. But that doesn't mean that we stop. It means we maybe have to be more discerning. You know, as activists, and I consider myself an activist, I also have to make sure I'm taking care of myself. That is also a strategy because when I get tired, and I do get tired, I have to take a step back and rest so that I can take that step forward again. And so I don't want you to go out there and tire yourself to death. We just have to be strategic about our own health as we are allies. Now, The next little exercise I want to do is hassle lines. Now, I do peacekeeping training, and in peacekeeping training, we teach people how to de-escalate conflict. And that's because that is my lane, is dealing with conflict. I have no problem with that. When someone is making a statement that leaves you feeling very uncomfortable, maybe you're in line at Wawa or Starbucks or the supermarket and someone makes a statement, you don't quite know what to say. Did I hear that right? How should I counter that? And then the moment is gone. We need practice on how to counter these kinds of comments that we might hear, that we will hear, unfortunately. And so I was thinking of an event that I recently was at, and someone made a racist joke, and because it was someone I knew well, I thought, you know, if that was a stranger, I would have been right there saying, that's offensive. It was a little bit harder because it was a family member and the setting that it was in. But I did end up saying something. They felt ashamed. They shut down. So I'm always trying to think about how can I make sure that person then doesn't tell the joke when I'm not in the room. Right? Because what I do sometimes is I ensure that that person isn't going to tell that joke in front of me anymore, but they may tell that joke when I'm not there. So I'm going to ask you if you're able to participate, because you are going to be standing for a few minutes. I'm going to ask you to count off 1, 2, 1, 2, and hold your finger up because I find people forget which number they took on. So can you start with your 1? 2. Your 1.
2.
1. 2.
1.
2.
1.
2. 1.
2. 2.
In the back there.
1. 2. Sorry.
1.
2.
1. 2.
1.
2.
1. Okay. All right. You remember your numbers now. Okay. I'm going to ask all the ones to stand up. All the ones are going to stand up. And you're going to line up with your back against the windows here. Okay? One over here. Line up with your back against the window. Spread out a little bit. Spread out a little bit. Okay, number 2. Don't pick your partner, but you're going to stand across from somebody who is a 1. So 2s can stand up and go across from someone that they do not know well. We can go around the corner here a little bit to give ourselves space. Is anybody confused about their numbers? Okay, do we have everyone lined up now? Friends, I don't know where you're standing, but if you could figure out where you are to be.
We're 1 partners.
Your partners. Okay, could you stand across from one another, please? Anyone who is a partner, stand across from them. Who doesn't have a partner? Okay. Whoever doesn't have a partner, come around the corner here to, it looks like 2 people that could use a partner. Okay, Kaylee, you need a partner, right? It doesn't matter. Just stand across from the person who doesn't have a partner. This is painful. I don't want this to be painful. Okay, is everyone ready? The people with their back against the wall, listen up. People with their back against the wall, I need you to listen carefully, okay? You're going to be making a statement. You're going to be making a statement, okay? If your back is against the wall, this is your statement. The person across from you is going to get to respond to the statement that you're making. What you're doing is you're making a statement about a child that you just saw go by. What are they, a boy or a girl? Or are they trans? You must be confused. That is your statement, okay? What I just said is you're at an event. You're at an event and a child just went by. The person across from you has heard you say this statement. The statement that you just said is, what are you, a boy or a girl, or are you trans? Are you confused? Okay? You all have that? The person across from you is now tasked in coming up with a way to respond. So when I say go, when I say count to, when I get to 3, you are going to respond. You're going to make that statement, and then they're going to respond. Any questions about that one statement? No. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. What someone willing to share their response was. So number 2, Hans.
We're all very confused, or most of us are very confused. We didn't really understand the instructions very well because other people in the line were giving instructions as well.
When you said you must be confused, I didn't know who that you person was supposed to be. Was it supposed to be the person that was walking by, or was it supposed to be the person that was standing in front of you?
You were at an event. You walk past a small group of people, and one of them looks trans. You make an awful statement about it. Just in general, not to anybody, just in general. The person across from you heard it, and it's up to them to respond. Do you want to try it again?
Yeah.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, go.
Hi, Bill. Want to say something? And I'll respond.
Okay, stop. So what I'm trying to get you to do is think on your feet. Okay? That's really the whole goal of this, is to think on your feet. some of you, if this was real, some of you would have gone, oh my gosh, I don't even want to know that person. Or you'd be going home, and then at some point you'd be saying, I wish I would have said something. So this is just practice.
I'm sorry, I didn't realize you couldn't hear me.
So who would like to share what they came up with? Yes.
My response would be, I don't care what
Can
they
you hear
are.
me now, Joanne?
Okay.
Yes, I can hear you. I was muted.
Me too.
Okay.
I
Okay, so the response was, I
The
don't
host
care.
is muting us.
It's none of my business.
It's none of my business. So good response. Yes, Moose.
I said, does it matter?
And Moose's response was, does it matter?
Yeah.
Right?
Joanne, my
Okay,
response is
Susan,
in the
did you have
chat.
a different response?
I asked, why would you want to know that? Why
Good
does it make a
response.
difference?
Why would you want to know that? Nancy?
Because they're humans just like us.
They're humans just like us. Good response. Good response. The point is, you want to respond. And you want to respond from a place of compassion.
Yes.
You want to model that compassion. It'd be easy to say, you're an a-hole. And the little bubble above your head may be saying that. But I always try to think about, what if there's an 8-year-old kid watching this exchange? What do I want them to see? David, you had your hand up?
Yeah, I was going to say, I had very similar responses to them, but I think I may have taken a little step further than the one I've heard about, which is, and so I asked her, why does it matter?
Okay, good question. Why does it matter to you? Asking them a question. Why does it matter to you?
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So, all right, why does it matter? I think because we're a different generation, and we were used to either speaking to a male or a female, and like knowing that it was a male or female. I think it's a little confusing in the brain. Like that's, like I don't like to judge anybody, because I think we're all God's children, and like if I felt really odd, I would like ask for help from the other side. But it does confuse my head to like, I want to know if I'm talking to a man or a woman. Yeah, oh yeah, we talk differently. I was trying to understand that piece of the understanding.
Sometimes we don't understand.
Okay, just
Sometimes,
allow that to be.
yes, sometimes we might look at another person and we might even think, well, they're just setting themselves up to be a victim there. I've gotten many a call from people who say, that teacher was once Mr. So-and-so, now they're Ms. So-and-so. I'd be okay with that, but they dress so flamboyantly that it makes me feel uncomfortable. And so being uncomfortable is one thing, but saying something derogatory is another. Because even if you had said, my brain is confused, like I want to, I was brought up to, man or a woman, David might have a different response to that.
Yeah, he had the similar to this.
Yeah.
Yeah. What does it matter?
Yeah.
Right.
I actually asked her again. She said that. I was like, so then why does it matter?
Yeah. Yeah.
And your response was, why does it matter?
Barb, and then
I think how it was just coming to me, what the response to the might be, and it's people ask a question, you have to be ready to dialogue, and they might say something even more offensive.
Yes.
Like, well, it matters because the Bible said, whereas Nancy made a statement, right?
So a statement versus a question.
It's harder to refute what she said.
So here's what I have found, is that somebody isn't quite ready for your compassionate statement or question. And it kind of takes them aback. And so that, if you can accomplish that, you have probably planted a seed for them. And we may not see the results of that seed. If they're a decent person, they will let that seed nurture. But if they are in a group that is constantly putting down that other group, then it may fall on deaf ears. Dave, after I get this gentleman's comment.
So my background in A Course in Miracles, you don't want your response to be an attack, right?
Yes.
If you say, well, why do you want to know? That's like an attack. Just let it go.
And it might be how you say it.
Yeah.
If you're coming from an authentic place of trying to say, it doesn't matter to me, and so I'm wondering why it matters to you. What is your intention? Is your intention to shame them, or is your intention to get them to think? Deva and then Hans.
Well, I was thinking the same thing, confrontational versus curious. Curiosity comes across that way. It's not, I'm the authority of, values, and you're not going to do that because you're going to get pushback. But doing it from a place of compassion and curiosity is going to land entirely different for people.
Can you repeat
Hans,
that?
so compassion versus, curiosity versus confrontation. Hans.
Well, yes, curiosity and initially, what is offensive to someone might be a simple comment to somebody else. There's, some things are obviously offensive, but there are other statements that are sort of a spectrum, and where you land on that spectrum can have an effect as far as how you respond to the other person.
So yeah.
Like, okay, if I give an example?
Sure.
Is that person transgender? I don't know. I'm just wondering. It doesn't matter to me who they are. It's just I'm curious about who they are as a person.
So in your instance there, Hans, you're taking it as a curiosity from the other person and responding in kind. Yes. And that may very well be the case, but sometimes there is a snarkiness to a comment. And how do you respond to the snarkiness in a way that has them reflecting a little tiny bit? Dave?
Yeah, you're kind of going where I was going to go. So my response to her had been very different than the response to me.
You bring the mics to them, bring the mic up to them so they can hear them. That mic has a lot of cord.
Okay.
A lot of cord. We have a lot of cord here. All right, so my response to her would have been probably different than my response to the way your brother here expressed it. She seemed, what's the word? She seemed legitimately confused, and I wanted to think about it. So, but if there had been somebody who was, somebody more aggressive, my response would have been tempered a little bit differently. So, I have training and experience in this, in fairness. Tone is part of communication. The way they're saying it says to me how I should respond to be different. If someone's being very aggressive, I'm not going to go, well, so why didn't you think that? I'm going to punch them in the face. Right? So my response would be very different. So be aware of the tone.
Right. David, if you could pass the mic to the woman next to you.
Yes, hi. I wanted to elaborate on that point you had brought up that we actually talked briefly about relating to people. In our generation, we were brought up to relate to men in a certain way, and our women friends as well. In a way that would be more receptive, so if we're the type of person who wants to connect and communicate.
And you're
And you're trying to figure out what's going on there. yeah, that's exactly what happens. You're like, how do I relate to these people now that they are changing from what I know or knew, and they're becoming this other person? They're still the same person, they've chosen a different gender, or the gender they feel they're most comfortable with. And you just relate to them as a human being.
Human being, yeah.
So Bill Never on Zoom has his hand up.
Okay, Bill.
Oh, he needs to unmute, ask him to unmute.
Can you unmute Bill?
He's not responding to you.
Bill, can you?
Yes.
No matter.
Yes, I'm here. And I had imagined myself in that situation where a person had made fun or diminished a girl walking by who was trans or something. And my reply would be that actually my daughter, my kid rather, Kylan, has declared themselves gender queer because they don't like the way our culture treats women. And Joanne made a wonderful response. We were going back and forth, and she expressed gratitude for that person, even though she didn't know her, that she was grateful that she was part of the community. And I think a positive response like that to the human being in front of you is delightful. It's the way to go.
Yes, thank you, Bill. One more, and then we need to move on to the next one. Go ahead.
I'm just gonna go real quick, because I have the mic.
Oh, okay.
I had this conversation with myself the other day in the park. So it was me talking to me as a couple was walking by, and the very tall woman, and she had on a little teeny top and a little sparkly belt, and I remember thinking, doesn't she look sharp? And when they passed me, it was a guy looking very sharp in his little belly with his skinny pants and I said, well, listen, isn't he a good dresser? You know, with me, it's always about the clothes or the hair or something along that line. But I thought that was an interesting conversation I had with myself. It had nothing to do with, oh, what do you think he's doing, she's doing, whatever they're doing. He just looked very good.
You're gonna have to work straight.
Rearrange the.
There we go.
I guess from my own experience, I know I can't. Hello? So one of the things I'm going to actually give you a specific example. I've been in these conversations with a very devout evangelical Christian, and my statement was, we need more female power, we're going to destroy ourselves. It was kind of too much of a statement for them to handle, but because we are. A lot of this problem is age old, and I think we need a switch in the energy. A big part of that is it's not necessarily female, it's just that people possess more of it. It's called compassion, protecting your child. It's instinctive. And he gave me the most unusual answer. He said, well, look at Sarah. So Sarah provided a child because she couldn't. No, but then she changed her mind. So he just went on and on and on with that. If you give women power, they're going to change their mind and go every which way, which people do, whether they're women or men. So, but what I saw from that is that no matter what I showed him or talked to him, I don't know, God, but whatever I said to him, just there was an answer through it, and it's all through his religion.
Correct.
So he's not really even thinking for himself, but he's convinced this is true. Believing is seeing. It's not seeing as believing. So sometimes you just can't make a person see. No matter how magnanimous you are, but you may have planted a seed, but it may take years to take root too.
Well, you know, what you're bringing up is very different when you're in a conversation with someone versus just hearing a comment.
Now this is a relationship.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's another class. So this is you coming upon someone who is being offensive in that moment. Okay, so I have one more. So since we asked the people against the wall to be the obnoxious ones, we're now going to switch that role. And those of you who are now facing the window will be the obnoxious ones. Okay? You have shown up at your town hall.
She said don't do it.
You have shown up at your town hall's pride event, but you're wearing a t-shirt that's quite offensive. It's got an offensive phrase on it. And so you have shown up an offensive t-shirt. So your job now, those of you that were the obnoxious ones before, when you see this person wearing a t-shirt, what could you do? What might you say? So all this team has to do is show up with their t-shirt. Ready? 1, 1, 2, 3, go.
I didn't understand what you said. I do know.
Okay, stop. Who is ready to share? Who's ready to share? Moose? Let's get Moose the microphone. Is there a microphone around here? Okay, Moose, so you've seen this t-shirt, and what is your response?
I just don't feel the way you do.
Okay, so the response was, I don't feel the way you do. Okay? That person, what do you think they may be saying? Who are you saying it to? Yeah. She doesn't really care. Okay, yes.
I just want to say this.
Can we all be listening right now? Thank you.
And this is my 2 cents, okay? I feel it's important to create space for both parties and not to see that person as bad and this one as being good. This is my 2 cents. And I feel like if we come at it with compassion for both sides, I think it's going to create more movement. So, I don't know. I mean, well, with our little thing here. But anyway, that's what I wanted to share. Like, don't say I'm bad. Like, what do you mean? But if you, come with compassion for that person that did wear the t-shirt, and we have, a conversation, and that person may be able to share, and I don't know, that's where I'm at right now.
So I'm thinking about the 8-year-old that is watching and waiting to see how are you going to approach this situation when someone is being offensive. That their goal is to be offensive. They have worn a t-shirt that is offensive. So what can you say in compassion? It's not that you don't have compassion, but what can you say to that person while that child is watching? That's how I want you to be thinking of this. Yes, go ahead.
What I did here is I ignored the t-shirt. I just continued the conversation with the person and ignore the t-shirt. I think it gives me an opportunity to meet the person. The t-shirt doesn't define the whole person. The t-shirt could have been very offensive to me, but it's not the whole person.
Okay. Larry?
I said that's inappropriate.
You said what? That's inappropriate.
That is inappropriate.
Yeah, I said so.
Yeah, this is the dilemma. Is, you know, we can make a statement like that's inappropriate, but like Barb gave the finger to Moose. Susan just said so. How can we make an impact? Is it even possible? David, did you have your hand up?
Oh, I did.
Can someone give her the microphone, please?
Gary, do you want to say something?
Gary, you want to say something?
Yeah, I was gonna get you the microphone.
Oh, thank you. I think I was more reactionary than responsive to the woman, my partner wearing a so-called t-shirt. And I said, wow, that's
Well, I said a couple of things, but.
What
did I say to you? I think that's what you said.
I think I said, wow, that's inappropriate. She came back and said,
It's really none of your business. And then I also said, a freedom of speech exists, so I'm expressing my right.
and I said, well, that's a pretty incendiary thing to do, to choose to wear that t-shirt in this setting. And that's what she said, I have freedom of speech to do whatever I want. So I went direct, because that's me. But I don't think it would have compassionately reached her, because she immediately felt she had to defend herself.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a harder one. If I were to say to you, someone is saying something offensive to this Muslim woman, I think you would be able to come to that person's side. So it is harder to do something when you're immediately offended by what someone is wearing, and you know they probably wore it intentionally to be offensive. Go ahead.
Okay, in our situation with David, see, the difference with David is you're open-minded and you actually, you speak more intelligently. Now, if I use the example, I mean, we did it, and he came aggressively, but not, my own son, he and I can't speak, because I come from a different place than he does. And we did this, we agreed to disagree, because otherwise we would just argue, and we would never come to a conclusion, you know?
It's different when it's a relationship, as I was saying earlier. When it's a relationship, that's a whole different workshop.
Andy?
Yeah.
Andy wants to speak, who's next?
No, Hans had his hand up a long time ago.
Oh, that's all right. Go ahead.
Speak.
We have a place where we critique people all around our border here and say, that's not right. It's like a workshop that looks like it's in the garden and neat there, but close. And that can be, and let's say it is actually inappropriate if they, came in from the garden and said, well, I don't care, but I'll do this, and other people are whispering and saying that that's not what we expect. I think that we've all got to practice being a little bit more reaching out when we see something that's different than us. And I think that would be very good.
still haven't heard a good answer to the question, and I don't have one either. I think maybe we're up against a myth of moral equivalency. Somebody has an offensive T-shirt, that's an offensive T-shirt. It's, but you can't deny that there's a pig in the parlor.
Offensive to who?
What? Okay, your turn. I couldn't hear.
Just real quick, offensive to who? There could be a group of people who would really be happy about that T-shirt.
Okay, so I'm gonna call a timeout here and get everybody to sit down. The purpose is to just get you thinking about how you could respond. And everybody's coming up with different contexts, which isn't the point. The point is, how do we give ourselves practice to say something to start to shift the energy? And so I will give you an example of offensive T-shirt, since that seemed to bring up this difficult scenario. So this young man came into an event, and he was wearing a Kyle Rittenhouse T-shirt. Do you all know who Kyle Rittenhouse is? What's that? Never heard of it. Yes. He shot and killed some Black Lives Matter protesters and was lifted up by the administration, invited to the White House. He has been lifted up as a role model of what to do. And I could not let that moment go. My ego was not attached to that moment in having to say the right thing, but I wanted him to know it was offensive to me. I knew he didn't care. That wasn't my point in that moment. In that moment, I wanted him to know that that person is not a good role model, that Kyle Rittenhouse was not a good role model. That's all in that moment, that's all I wanted to accomplish. So.
Do you think they accomplished it? I mean, if he didn't care, you just said.
But here's the thing. Do I know whether I accomplished anything? If an 8-year-old boy was watching me or an 8-year-old kid was watching me, did I accomplish something? Yeah. That's all I'm saying. Is think about if some child is watching, how do we respond to fascism? Right. Do we want our kids to say, just ignore it? No, we want to teach our kids how to stand up to fascism, how to stand up to offensive comments. And that's where I'm going with this. Kaylee and then David.
I was going to say
let's get you a microphone. Hang on.
Thank you. I can talk loud now, actually.
The Zoom can't hear you. For the Zoom.
Oh, yes, right. Okay. I was going to say, when I was in the graduate course at the University of Iowa for becoming a social worker, they started talking about offensive statements. Well, I grew up with all those jokes they used to tell about the black race. Now I'm in an area where they tell them on the Polish people. You know, it's just the same offensive thing said in another place. And they were talking about how to respond to that. I was like, oh, I was supposed to do something? I mean, it never occurred to me that that was the time to speak out. And it was like, wow, you never figured that out before, Caitlin, you know? But I started doing that then. But I didn't know that you're supposed to do something. You know, it just never occurred to me.
Thank you. David, you said you wanted to say something.
Did you want to respond to that first?
Well, what I want to respond to in that statement is that, you know, things are changing. And when we see things changing, this rising tide of hate that is upon us needs responses. And so there was a time where maybe, we weren't taught how to respond to offensive things. But having that awareness is what sounds like it happened for you.
Also, I had a light bulb moment yesterday on people were talking about this, and I have this book I wrote, Breaking Free from the Inner Critic, the underlying cause of all addictions and social problems. And I thought, wait a minute, wars start with our inner critic. Each one of us is responsible for the war because that's our inner critic, and it said about us. Our inner critic puts us down for different things, and other people, of course. And that's where wars start, inside of us. That's all.
So I have an observation, if I may. And hopefully this will be helpful for everyone. So I know this community pretty well, so I've got an advantage on you here. But what I saw was everybody in this room had compassion for, they had compassion. All their responses were based on compassion, either for the perceived victim, the people seeing the t-shirt or being insulted by somebody, as well as compassion for the offender, which is kind of advanced if you ask me, having compassion for the offender. But I think the context matters. If you're talking about a one-on-one conversation, or if I'm walking down the street and I see someone in an offensive t-shirt, I might choose to ignore it in that case. I don't know. Depends on the circumstances. I think what Barbara was trying to get at, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't want to take over your training, was what do you do when other people are affected by it? How do you be an ally for all these people?
Right.
So I think what needs to be assumed in these exercises is that's what's happening. This is, people are witnessing this. How do you respond as an ally?
Thank you, David. Yeah. Thank you. That is exactly where I was going with this. That these marginalized groups are feeling hostility right now. These marginalized groups are looking around to see who is my ally. Yeah. That 8-year-old that I talked about that doesn't yet know what's happening but feels that hostility, that doesn't mean we become hostile. It means we respond from the compassion in action that's being called for us to do. It means responding, period, as best you can, versus, well, it depends, am I gonna put myself in danger here? I could write a book on the different scenarios of things that have happened and people did not know how to respond. And so they chose not to respond. That woman that asked me directly, what are you gonna do, Barbara, when they come for me? That is where we are at. And so this really is an exercise in thinking, what's the role I can play? I am a peace builder. I do not like division. I won't participate in division, but I'm also not going to let someone be hurt by something that someone else does not care whether they hurt that person or not. So that was the point of today. It was a little difficult to do because this isn't the best setting, because really this is an all-day kind of training. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to just give you a little taste of it. But the idea is, often we walk away saying, well, we needed to do something. Well, we need the skills and what that something is. And so having some practice is what this is all about. Yeah.
I think what you're talking about is the bystander, being a bystander, right? And how to have impact as a bystander, because witnessing all this, I think, we all have responsibility, is what I hear you saying. And just because it didn't happen to you, you're not the target, but you're a bystander watching and observing, witnessing potential, in some way it's kind of like violence. It's like verbal violence, when someone aggressively uses language or behavior that, that has impact on other people. So as a bystander, not just sitting there feeling helpless, but doing something.
And recognizing we're the privileged ones. This is why I want us to be taking on this role. Susan and then Barbara.
I just wonder if you might be able to answer, because so many times people will say, that's none of your business. That's none of your business what I say, it's none of your business what I wear on my t-shirt. And so I wonder if you have any good comebacks for us.
Remember, we can't control what the other person is saying. We can't control what they're thinking. And they're wearing something offensive because they want to draw your attention. I am not one to ignore things like that, though. I am one to say, I know you don't care about this, but that is not a good role model. Again, I'm doing it for whoever is watching, rather than just ignore it. So Barbara and...
This is another question. I wanted to respond to that. So I have, can you hear me?
Yeah. It's working if you put it up to your chin.
Hello?
No.
It's working. Can you hear me?
Yes. Turn it off.
I think you can you hear me now?
Yeah.
I have kind of a ready-made response on that.
Use the other mic.
When, use the other mic? Okay. I have a response for that when someone says it's none of your business. Again, it's a matter of context, it depends on the circumstances. Just me and them, none of my business, I might say, well, you don't want to talk about this? Okay. If it was other people being offended, I would say, no, it's not about you. You certainly have a right to have your own opinion. I'm not trying to tell you how to think. I'm trying to tell you how you're affecting people around you.
All right, good response. Good. Thank you. Good.
This is off the record.
All right, but you need to be at the mic, because Zoom needs to hear you.
Okay.
We have to keep remembering we're hybrid here.
I just want to know if we were harder to organize than a class of third graders.
I don't want to offend anyone. I think what's hard for this group is being the obnoxious one. We are not the obnoxious people. We are the ones that are the solution makers, the peace builders. So it's just harder to get people to be, playing that role. So that's why it was harder for this group. Yeah, thank you. David is always willing to come up and use the mic because she knows this hybrid.
Same to you.
So I'm thinking about how jokes were presented. Don Rickles, remember Don Rickles?
Yes.
Everybody loved Don Rickles. If you were in the audience, if he was trashing your religion, your race, your handicap, whatever it was, people came there for that. So, and one of the things that I think people like you and I and lots of people here, we're seen as bleeding heart liberals, right? So where does comedy go in the midst of being PC? That's my question.
So I don't know that I want to go there. No, my real goal is that person saying, "Are you going to be standing there for me?" That's my goal. So we might get it wrong, but we get better when we practice it. And so you might walk away the next 3 times you hear something, but don't walk away that 4th time. You know, or if you didn't get it right, don't beat yourself up, just say, you know what, I'm gonna get it better next time. Regarding relationship stuff, we stop listening to one another when our values seem to get in the way, that seem to differ. And that's really, really hard. I will stay in there, even when the values differ, but the other person usually gets too uncomfortable and leaves. I can't change that. I will always engage in authentic conversation with someone who I disagree with. I just invited my neighbor who constantly is saying things on Facebook that he disagrees with, but he has remained respectful in his disagreement. So I invited him over for dinner, and he said, oh, you're gonna lose a lot of friends by having me over for dinner. And I said, anybody that knows me would know that this is who I am. I'm okay with having dinner with you, as long as we're respectful of one another. Do I think I'm gonna change his mind? That's right. And he's not gonna change my mind. But I want to at least make the effort to say, we're both human beings here. So let's talk. But the bigger thing is, if your values are to take away the rights of immigrants, African Americans, women, LGBTQ, you're going to hear from me. Because it's not okay. You're allowed to have your opinion, but when that opinion becomes policy, it's not okay. So I don't feel afraid to say that. So can we be better allies? Yes, we can, and we must. Can we be better at being more compassionate? Yes. But I will say the caveat to that is Steve Bannon says, we go for the head wound. What do you do when someone is going for the head wound? Doesn't mean you come out of your compassion, but you better have a lot of armor on so that you don't get hurt.
Did you tell us what you said to that person?
Which person is that?
The one that said, what are you going to do when they come for me?
No, I didn't have an answer for her, Nancy. I just listened to her. And then the next person was Jewish and said, what are you going to do when they come for me? The next person was gay and said, what are you going to do when they come for me? It wasn't that I needed to have an answer in that moment. But what I did say is I have a responsibility as a privileged person to be able to be there for all of you. But what will I do? How many of us can say we will be willing to risk our lives to hide Anne Frank in our attic? Because that's what we need to be asking ourselves now. So I think we have gone over our time here.
Everybody, you all join me in saying thank you so much. Because we are, even though we may not have answers, we have a lot of other things to pause maybe and think of an answer instead of reactive, as David brought that up, that idea of us not being reactive, giving that beat and take a breath and saying to a person, thinking, always imagine the 8-year-old or 2 8-year-olds or your own grandchildren or whatever, being right there. How is it that we don't want to do that? Ask them questions and start them. And I've told you about I have 3 very good Trumper friends. I mean, very good friends who are big Trumpers. But I love them, and I bring about the conversations every once in a while. But mostly, I will not let go of that love and that compassion that I have for them. Because actually, they are more compassionate than some of the people who at work are may be a Democrat or whatever it is you want to say. But I want to develop that, because if I don't show them that, then they don't see it from a Democrat.
And I just want to let you know, I would love to have all of you become members of the Peace Center. We have to keep this movement going. The Peace Center almost closed 1 year ago, and I stepped in as a full-time volunteer to keep it open. So I'm there 40 hours, more than 40 hours a week, keeping it open because this work is too important. There's information over there about the Peace Center. Please take some and consider becoming a member. Consider becoming a member of the NAACP, Bucks County chapter. Become a member of the African American Museum, where real history is being told. So there's things we can do even if we're not in a place where we feel comfortable telling somebody we didn't like their t-shirt. Thank you, Susan. Thank you, everyone.
I'm so glad you're all here, and please come back again on Sunday, when we do something else. We'll be doing something fun, but we have great music coming next week. And so our next song is going to be lighting us up into this little light of mine. Sing it, sing it. Marion Schuderman loves that. And of course, with the Muppets, we get the Muppets.
If you're not going
This is the time of mine. I'm gonna let it shine. This is the light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine.
He's here.
Bye, Bill. Thanks for coming. Say hi to Bobby.
Going, we don't need either.